Well, hello everyone. It is Monday, February the 22nd, and excited to see everyone today and find out how everyone's week is going and be able to share some good information for you to help you move forward in your business. Being the week of Go Global, many of us are getting ready to head out to Baltimore, which is really the home base for Take Shape for Life in Owings Mills, Maryland. It'll be exciting to be able to tour the home office, and hopefully as leaders we'll bring home some great info for you with what we find out. So congratulations to Molly Purdy, of course, my business coach, who will be going to Baltimore, as well as Terry Moore, Sandy Hughes, and Joy Henson from our team. So hopefully we'll represent Team Shine, and hopefully the rest of you will be joining us next year, if that should be your goal. So I thought it would be helpful today to go over a couple things. It might take us a couple calls to go through this document. One that I created actually a couple years ago, and I thought as there was a lot of new coaches on our team, I thought it would be appropriate to go over this. I will email this out to the team as well, to the email list that I just sent the call reminder out to. But wanted to go over today at the beginning and then open it up for questions about midway through. And dialogue as well. But this concept about not just seeing Take Shape for Life as something that we do, but about who we are. And Take Shape for Life is a way of life. I like to joke around and say it's not take shape for a cruise or take shape for a minute, take shape for a certain event necessarily, but really taking shape for life. And I mentioned last week I thought that Take Shape for Life was pretty corny when I started. I thought that name sounded a little bizarre, but 5 years in, it's definitely appropriate, because what happens is it's really a place of transformation when you're taking shape. And what does that look like for us in our life? Then what I want to do with this call today is looking at how we position ourselves as a business professional and not looking at this as something that we do as a hobby. So I'm assuming that if we get on the calls and we're plugging ourselves into leadership and learning to the best of our ability how to implement this into our world, I'm assuming we all want to be business professionals and not just use this as a hobby. That's something that we want to really impact the world around us and grow our financial status, right? So that's what a job does. It helps us to use our passion, but also to gain the financial aspect of it as well. So let's go through this a little bit. There's a few bullets on here, but wanted to start with spreading the word. When we become a health coach, the idea is that we spread the word, and we use third party and practice partners as something where we start. And so in the training, it talks about identifying 5 people that you're closest to in order to spread the word about and go through your training. And the reason why we work with our business coach is because oftentimes you don't really know what to say, and you can get paralyzed and stuck with the words. And so we use practice partners as a way for the business coach to the new health coach to be able to pave the way and give a variety of different instances with how this might sound. And I know that every time I do a practice partner call, my goal is for it to sound completely different to make a point. That we don't have some coined verbiage that we use to make a sales pitch to someone, but ultimately we're trying to make a connection. And the more we are trying to make a connection with the person that's on the other line in a way for them to understand what it is we do so that they can share. And in the end, if they say that it's something that they're interested in, we can always schedule another call in order to do an interested call versus the practice partner and third party call really being the intention of spreading the word. So out of integrity, we want to stay in that mindset around I'm calling, we're calling in order to spread the word and to do training. And so if they are interested in what we have to offer, I highly recommend you schedule another call for that. The other thing with spreading the word with friends and family is Take Shape for Life. The goal is to make it a household name. Weight Watchers and Nutrisystem have a lot of commercials, so they are going to be more of a household name. Not necessarily because so many more people use those companies or have more success than Take Shape for Life, but because it is something that is advertised that way, and our company is only a word of mouth company and a referral based and referral marketing. So we want to definitely master our craft with the habits of health as a part of that spreading the word. That's a really great way for us to make connections with people in our life. If someone's, especially in the day of Facebook, when people are commenting about being dehydrated or not being able to get their exercise, we definitely can utilize our skills and our knowledge around what we know in the habits of health. And we use the term dripping. We can drip on people in our life to make ourselves a wealth of information, a valuable resource to people in our life. And that's the natural, organic way to spread the word about what we do, versus the vomiting idea that other people use, and we get so excited and it just ends up coming out, versus really being intentional about using this as a vehicle and positioning ourselves as a business professional. So that's the first topic around spreading the word with friends and family. The second thing I wanted to cover today around referral partnerships. I've gotten a lot of questions lately about how do I partner with fill in the blank. So of course there's a lot of other companies that are referral marketing like ours, like Pampered Chef, like the oil companies, whether doTERRA or Young Living, Juice Plus. There's a lot of other companies that don't offer what we have to offer, and they would be great referral partnerships with us. And a couple of things that you want to keep in mind when you're looking for referral partnerships: is there a line that is too close to cross? So for example, I met with a woman who is a Juice Plus rep this past weekend, and she is not interested at all in helping people lose weight. And actually, she would say that is not something that she embarks on at all. If people do lose weight and using some of their products, that's an added bonus, but definitely not something that she seeks out. And she very much felt that what we had to offer with Take Shape for Life, with the educational component of the habits of health, was way more beneficial, because the food is just a small portion of getting true results. So that's some of the things that you want to look for when you're talking to someone, to see if you have a mutual respect and even love for each other's product and service, to see if that's a good connection. So looking for client success. When you have a client, I know Joy's not on the line today because one of her clients has lost 40 pounds and her husband 50 and was on her way to a doctor's appointment. Joy wanted to be sure that she had some information in her client's hand to take to her doctor today. So that's one way that you want to be intentional about connecting with your clients if they're going to talk to a provider. I mentioned on this document to be sure you partner with your executive director in your sponsorship to connect with any medical providers. That's one of our compliance, in our compliance document, that if you are talking to a doctor besides your own, that you need to be an executive director. And that's just so that we're all having integrity and knowing enough about what we do. That's why we want to partner with someone in leadership to do that. Another suggestion would be to create your own wellness wheel of service providers. That's in alignment with looking at different companies. I know here at SHINE, we have a giant wellness wheel of people who are doing facials, massage therapy, people who teach group fitness, personal training, health coaching. There's a lot of different things that we offer. And what that does is it really creates a strength, not necessarily strength in numbers, but just a value add that when your clients are working with you, they know that their needs can be taken care of with other things that are needed in their life in terms of health as well. So that's another great way to make connections with people. In health coaching, we want to remember there's a couple things that we do. We acquire and support clients, and we acquire and support coaches. And in order to find those coaches, you need to acquire and support clients to find those coaches. So these are a couple ideas around how to grow our client list in order to acquire more clients. Make sure you remember that they're your best marketing tool. We need to invest in our clients long term. Having a specific time where you call your clients is going to be paramount in their support. I definitely recommend using your Google Calendar or Outlook, where people have a specific time slot where they know you're calling them or they're calling you, because if it's a random time of day, we all live such busy lives. Chances are that person is not going to be available when you call on the fly. And so it's always best to have a specific time of day that you're calling so that they can make that connection. One quick story I wanted to share. I've had a client for the last couple of years, and I could tell that he has a lot of weight to lose. And so he was losing some motivation and stopped he preferred to text and stopped answering my text messages. And so one day and he lives local, about 25 minutes away from my studio. And on our call, finally he answered one day, and I said, I've been thinking about you and wondered if it might be a little more accountability for you to show up at my studio once a week and weigh in and do your coaching call on site. That way, it seems like that might be a better fit for you. And he said, that's so crazy that you would say that, because I was just thinking that I've been hiding from you on the phone or on text. And he has a personal trainer that he works with that he shows up for 2 or 3 times a week. And he does it without fail because it's an appointment that he has to physically be present for. And so he's already had greater success because he's had an appointment and had to see me face to face. And so obviously we can't do that with all of our clients, although in this day and age we're definitely could always do a Zoom call. If you find that your clients are hiding from you, maybe you might suggest a FaceTime or a Zoom call so that they can physically be in front of you versus hiding behind text or a phone. So those are the first 2 topics I wanted to talk about because those are strictly around client acquisition. So I wanted to open it up for some dialogue around maybe some questions or maybe a testimonial or story about what you guys are noticing when you're working on client acquisition, or maybe some questions that you have about a specific instance in your business world at the moment. I'm going to take us off screen share so we don't get distracted by this document. So yes, Susan, Sonia, I'm going to go in and I'll unmute you guys as we go. Here we go. All right, Sonia, you're up.
Saturday, I went and visited my new client. He's 84 years old, 85 next month. And it was so important to go meet him in person. So I was glad I did that. But he is not an emailer. So, of course, I'm calling him every day this week.
Mm-hmm.
But what would you suggest? Like, I'm going to mail his Habits of Health sheet to him because I'm sure everybody loves to get mail. It's just fun now because it's so novel. So I'm going to do that. But what would you suggest about the email part of it? Because I enjoyed getting my emails as a client.
Right. There are a lot of times, especially older clientele, that they don't do a lot on the computer. So I definitely, just like with the Habits of Health, I would start those out up front and get them in the mail. I would probably put all days 1 through 4 in a document, print it out, and mail it to him ahead of time. And you could even do the Habits of Health study guide along with it. But I would go ahead and get that in the mail just so he has it physically in hand, so that when you give him a call on day 1, he can look at his tips of how to get through day 1. That probably would be the best recommendation.
And I'm too late for that right now.
Oh, because he's already started. That's right.
He started yesterday. So I'm emailing the information to his daughter, and he wants them to do it together, just like my dad and I did. Sure. I think that's what made her so tickled to do it with her dad. She has like 5 pounds to lose, and he wants her to do it with her. Would I put her on a 3 and 3, or with him? You know what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Would I put her on a 3 and 3 or 4 and 2? We're going to talk about that today.
Okay. That sounds good. That is a good question. I'm of the mindset that everyone can stand to do 5 and 1 for at least 2 weeks. So
she doesn't want to do it financially. So yes,
okay.
I agree with you.
Well, then that's a different story. But yeah, just anytime that we're looking at clients as far as what their need is, we all have room to detox. And so you can always use the 5 and 1 as a way to detox and to cleanse your system. But definitely if finances are a concern, a 3 and 3 approach is absolutely adequate, or even a 4 and 2 would be fine as well. So we can discuss that more on your coach call today. Okay. Anyone else want to have a question around, or a comment around client acquisition? Maybe some things that are going on in your world? Molly Purdy. Go ahead, Molly.
I think, what do you feel about sharing the interested document, Kim Fisk's conversational document? Do you think that would be helpful?
I think so. I was looking at that when I pulled up this document. I'll send that in the email as well. The interested document, Kim Fisk, for some of you new health coaches that don't know Kim, she's definitely probably our most passionate health coach. Just really paves the way for us in that the relationship model around Take Shape for Life. And so she's the one to go to as far as how to talk to someone, how to create that relationship, how to plant those seeds for later. And so I'll share the interested document as well, but it just kind of goes around how do you say, when they say this, how do you say this? In the document that we were just referring to, there are some questions along the bottom of that. We'll probably continue on that document next week on our call, as well as going over some highlights from Go Global. Many of us will be back from that and being able to share with you guys, and we'll probably continue on with the We Are Take Shape for Life document that we just went over. But that's a good suggestion, Molly. Thank you. It's always good to know what some people say, or how to verbalize when someone is interested, or how to take it from a certain point to the next step. So that sometimes can be a bit paralyzing. So that was good for us to be able to go over that. Sandy, you had something you wanted to cover?
Yes, can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Oh, it's actually working. That's cool. I was going to share about when somebody gets stuck, a client gets stuck at a plateau, or they get frustrated, or they just keep falling apart and trying to start over. And what I've done that's helped some people a great deal is daily texting for being compliant. So at the end of the day, if they were able to get their 5 and 1 in and be 100% compliant, they just text me a letter C, or they text me 100%. And that's kind of helped. That accountability has helped, just like showing up, like you talked about the one guy. It's helped them get past that bump. So that's worked well.
That's great. That also shows personal responsibility for them, because that's something they're reaching out to you and saying, hey, I was compliant today.
Yep.
So that's great. Yeah, Mom?
I have another suggestion. I've just started doing this, and it actually has been very effective in participating with the Meltdown Challenge health games that we do. The feet on the scale and taking a picture is really, really a great way to help people remain accountable for what's going on. So I now have my clients on their weigh-in day snap a picture of their feet on the scale and send it to me. And that is just a huge impact, because what I'm getting is feedback from the client saying, okay, you have no idea how many times that has stopped me from making a mistake, because I know you're going to see my feet on the scale on weigh-in day. And I'm like, okay, well then it's working. Because, I honestly, I'm not keeping like a file of those. The point is that you do it, I'm not even like looking to see what kind of progress you make, because I want you to tell me. But it's just fascinating how that particular accountability tool works. So feet on the scale, take a picture with your phone and send it to me. And they go, at first they're like, I'm like, yeah, here we go. So anyway, it might work for some other folks. I'm just putting it out there.
No, that's great. I think it really increases our level of value to our client, the difference that we can make in their life as we walk alongside them, and really making it different than, hey, we are helping you to change your food so that you can lose weight. It really truly is about the walking alongside, let's partner arm in arm. I was telling a client the other day, my intention is to link arms with you and walk alongside. But lately I felt like I'm reaching behind and dragging you, and that's really not my place. And so that we have to kind of let go. If you feel like you're dragging somebody along, just let go and let them know, hey, I will be here when you're ready to link back arms with me. But if you're starting to feel tired because you're dragging someone, they're tired too. So just let them go, and they'll come back when they're ready. I had a woman today who I coached about 3 years ago. She was going through grad school at the time and had taken a break from weight loss to go back to grad school and was kind of back and forth. Emailed me this morning and she said, okay, I'm ready. I need some structure again. I'm back in grad school. Stress is crazy. And really, I'm ready to go back. And that's really what we're looking for, the people that are ready. And sometimes, your heart, Susan Gouda and I've been having this discussion around people in our life that we just so want for them to move forward and to feel the freedom that we feel, or to feel the value in yourself. And sometimes the way that we take care of ourselves can really be in the way of that. And we can love people to that place, but ultimately it's their choice and the responsibility that they have. And when they're ready, they'll come. So our responsibility is just to make the offering. So if you have not done your hundreds list, I highly recommend you go through your list of people and make sure that everyone that in your life knows what you do. So I got a question here from Sonia, asked, what do we do about people in our clients' inner circle who sabotage them as a treat for their good work? That is a great question. Does anybody else have an answer to that? I have my own, but I'd love to open it up for you guys. Do you have something that you would say? What do you do when somebody is in their life that's a saboteur? Okay. Oh, Sandy has a comment. Here we go.
I would say thank you so much for that kind effort. And that I'm being successful, but you probably don't know me very well because you know that I would not accept that. That's what I would say.
Okay. Quick story. April, my 16-year-old daughter, decided she's doing a bodybuilding show in June. And so she has been working so hard. She's been on plan and was going to her grandparents this weekend. And I said, now you know that when you go to your grandparents, they're going to want to treat you with desserts because that's what they do. They're grandparents. And she's like, I know, but I'm going to be okay. I'm going to have my stuff with me. And I'd encourage you to let them know when you get there your intention. Because when you make clear what it is you want and what your expectation is around your food choices, then it probably will be a little easier of a time. And so when she got home, she said, the first thing they did was take me to McDonald's. And so she do. And she said, I just told them, I said, I want you to know that I'm really doing well on my program and I'm working out every day and I'm really excited about doing my bodybuilding show. And they were so supportive and then continued the rest of the weekend to offer her treats. And she said she couldn't. She's like, Mom, I just couldn't. After so many days, I just couldn't. So she said, I didn't do as badly as I could have done. She's like, but I wasn't completely unplanned. And would you know that last night she got home at 6:30. We had dinner and she went straight to the studio to work out. And I thought, that is entirely impressive. So sometimes things do happen. And I think that people in our life they really have a good heart and they want to applaud us. But our culture is so much about, you did great, here's a treat. And so the treats come in mostly food choices, not really others. And so I think what's best for us as health coaches is to really look at what are other treats for us outside of what culture looks at around food, and really be able to suggest those kinds of things to our clients. Because I have to say, it doesn't really sound the same. Like, Happy Valentine's Day, here's a t-shirt, versus here's a bag of candy. Like, the candy just makes you a little happier. But it's just because that's the way that our culture is. And so if we don't change that in our world, people in our world won't have a prayer. So just remember, if it's hard for us, it's probably hard for them. And there is just a place of being real and vulnerable too. That just because we're health coaches doesn't mean that we don't have a lot of those same kind of struggles. So great question.
I have a question. I'm not sure. Could you tell me the question again? Because I would have answered it differently. So would you repeat the question?
It says, what do we do about people in our clients' inner circle who sabotage them as a treat for their good work?
Go.
Mm-hmm. Well, the advice I've given around that is that sometimes we have to make adjustments until we're strong enough that we're bulletproof, you know, because, you know, you're pretty compromised at the beginning. All of this is pretty new. So you may not have the strength or, you know, the resolve that you need. Once you're in fat burning and you're getting results and you've learned a few more things through, you know, the habits of health, then you might feel more confident in re-engaging with those people. But sometimes for a little while, you have to just take care of yourself and not necessarily engage until you're ready, until, you know, you feel strong enough to do that. Mm-hmm. And so that's all I wanted to share.
I think that's entirely appropriate too. It's okay to you definitely don't want your clients to be an island, but right. Sometimes it is helpful to say, you know, it's okay if you feel like you need to disengage for a little bit. I had several clients who said they didn't go to parties for their first month just because they weren't ready to be around a bunch of temptation. But you're right. When you have resolve and can be bulletproof around your choices and what you want, it does make it a little bit easier to reintroduce some of those things in your life. So great questions. So next week, I want to be, of course, respectful to your time. We're a minute out from the close of our call. So thank you so much for taking time on your Monday to chat. If you think of questions during the week, feel free to post them on the Facebook page on Team Shine that you want to cover on the call. And we'll continue to hopefully make the calls as appropriate to what everyone's working on and inspiring and motivating for the week, but also respecting all of our time as well. So thanks again for being on the call, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Make it a great week, and we'll see you guys soon.